It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. Y'all, they finally got out the bikini and the wellness. What are they called? Like the Tyler Manion's
Debriefs, I guess.
Debriefs, 2 cents.
Yeah. Where he kind of like shares his thoughts on the show, the other judges' thoughts on the show, why they picked who they picked. Yes. I do appreciate they show like, and I'm going to try to be better on this YouTube video specifically. I was better in the recap than I was in our predictions of just like, at least showing photos of everyone we're talking about. So just a reminder, if you listen on like Apple or Spotify or anything that isn't YouTube, if you need a visual and you're like, I don't know who these people are talking about, if you go to the YouTube, I always like, as we say their names, show their photo.
Yay.
So makes your life easier.
I took screenshots for the wellness because they kept talking about the top 3 that they were comparing. So I was like, let me take a screenshot of all their poses because they basically... they're judging them like pose to pose. Like this one won this pose, this one won this pose, but...
which I thought was interesting because like we'll talk about it as we get into the bikini recap. They don't really do that for bikini. And I don't know if it's just because wellness is so close and so neck and neck and such similar looking physiques.
And what's weird is too, like they said with the scoring, it didn't seem like it was as close as we thought. But with what Tyler Manion was saying... he was saying that it was closer. So I was like, I'm going to...
and he did kind of disclose that. He was like, this was how I was judging them. So I think maybe like it could kind of be fun if in the future they had the whole panel share like each of their thoughts and feedback.
I would love that.
It would be just like insightful and cool to hear because truly this is like one judge's opinion. He just happens to be like the most important of the judges' opinions. So I'm grateful he shares his thoughts, but it would be cool to hear the other judges as well.
I really want to hear because judging is, I mean, there's criteria, but then it's also subjective. So it's like my eyeballs see something different than your eyeballs see.
For sure.
But first, you're 17 days out?
Yes.
17 days out when we're filming
18.
this.
I keep forgetting. I think it's 17.
It's
I can't do math.
It's a little over 2 weeks.
Yes.
So how do you feel?
I feel, and I keep saying this in like a sinister way, I feel like surprisingly good, where I keep going like, when am I gonna feel bad? Mm-hmm. But if any of you like watch my YouTube, you would know, I want to say it was around like the 7-week out mark. I feel like that was the hardest for me this year. And I got a lot of those like negative emotions, negative feelings, like dragging my feet, dragging my ass. Like that was all in that like 7-6 weeks out mark. And I feel like as soon as I like snapped back into it and like got my head in the game, like I've just been good and I just feel good. And I was saying, I was just traveling and I was with family and I was just talking to them. And I was like, it is so crazy to me how my last bodybuilding prep, I made it out to be like this world-ending thing, and I like was miserable sometimes. Yeah. And looking back, I'm like, that was fully a choice I was making. Like I was fully, I'm eating around the same right now, around the same amount of cardio right now. And like you would think that my energy and my mood would be how it used to be, but I'm fully viewing it as like I'm getting to do this every day. I'm choosing to do this every day. And so I have like a really good outlook on it right now compared to younger me or like me in the past who didn't have a great relationship with myself or with food and definitely should have dealt with that before going into a prep. I was complaining all the time and finding everything to, I guess, just like feel down about.
Yeah, it's like you want it to be a challenge. Like
yes, I was seeking a challenge.
Yes, I mean, like just being human. Like we do love to search for that in like the most sinister way. Like how can I make it more difficult? And it's funny that you talk about that because we did. I think it was in the Know Your Power coaching call. I did a live on it and then I did it at the Know Your Power, but we talked about the topic of like, where can I let it be easy?
Yep.
And it reminded me of that where like I have had preps that are actually way harder than the prep I had this season.
Exactly.
Where I was doing like 2 hours of cardio, eating way less. And this time I was eating like a little bit more, doing less cardio my life was more busy, but it was like the mindset shift of, you know, this is a hard thing. Yeah. Yes, but I am making it harder than it needs to be.
Exactly. I think it's like fully just how you view things sometimes, which like, of course, like saying that or hearing that, you're like, well, duh.
It sounds
But
ridiculous.
in the moment, I'm like, oh, wow. Like I see so many people who used to compete who are kind of in the same boat as me, where they're like, bodybuilding ruined my relationship with food, or it did this and I'm never going back. And I think in reality, like this prep has showed me you can have a healthy relationship with it. You can do it in a slow, balanced way and have fun during it. And like, that's the stage I'm at where, yeah, of course I'm getting like a little sleepy. I'm a little delusional, but like overall, like my mood, my energy, everything feels, again, shockingly high, but only shocking because I've never had such a smooth prep before. So I'm excited. Coach thinks I'm on track. I feel on track. Analytic wise, for people who are curious, I want to say I'm down like 25 pounds ish since I started. I was kind of comparing beginning of prep to, because I did check-ins yesterday, and it's always fun for me to look at like how far I've come. And I was like, oh wow, like my body has changed a lot. It just happened so gradually that even I haven't seen it. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's so cool.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I can't wait.
I like officially signed up yesterday. Yeah. Got my NPC card renewed. Yeah. I think the last time it was renewed was back in like 2020 or 2021. So like
in preparation for the other one.
Yeah, I had to like update all of my information. I booked my tan. I booked my photos. I'm going to be doing my own hair and makeup, which will be interesting. I'll try to film it. So yeah, I would say I just feel good, which is good. I'm so grateful.
I think that's the great, that, I mean, from all of the work that you did mentally.
Yeah.
Since you last stepped on stage has like really shown in this prep, all that work so that it can be like, yeah, it could be I feel smooth, like you know?
I practice what we preach, which is like, make sure you have those positive, healthy relationships first. Make sure you're ready first instead of feeling like you have to do it for external reasons or like rush to step on stage. Like I truly took my time, and I feel like that's why my body and my brain are like thanking me for it.
I feel like we were just sitting here the other day being like, I started prep.
Yeah. Look at us now.
You're so close.
I am so close. I also don't know like how this season's going to be. I don't know if I'm doing this one show and I'm done, or if I'm doing another one if I don't win, or doing nationals if I do win. Like it's fully dependent. I think like I haven't stepped on a bikini stage in 7 years.
Yeah.
So I have no clue how they're going to like my shape in bikini. Like this is truly me going in blind and just kind of taking feedback. I've been getting a lot of DMs, which is why I brought it up about like, do you want to go back to wellness? Do you want to grow into wellness? And like, honestly, I think how I've been posing, how my body's been shaping up, I do think I could fit more easily into bikini if I trained for that than trying to like put on a ton of mass to go wellness. Cause those tall wellness girls, dude, they're massive. Like they're so muscle dense, which of course looks amazing. I just truly don't know if that's like where I see myself heading now.
But it would take years.
It would take years.
Like it takes years even for like a shorty.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Angela Borges in person and being like, but she was shredded. And I was like, I can't imagine how even more jacked you look like in your off season. Because like when you're on season, like what people don't realize is like how tiny you actually look.
Yeah.
Because you're stripped of all the fat that's covering your muscle. You're on stage, you're perfectly pumped, perfectly peaked, all of that jazz, and you look massive. And I've, standing next to the girls, like I'm even like me standing next to Rayanne or standing next to like Lisa, like they are very muscular, but they're still tiny little girls.
Yeah.
And then on stage, it's like, wow. So I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for
Thanks.
I can't wait.
I'm so glad you get to come.
I know. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I was thinking about it the other day and I was getting really excited.
I was too.
I was driving and I was like, oh my God. And I was going to text you and I was like, I don't want to make him nervous.
I think I'm just excited to like have my friends and family and my significant other's family is coming and just be able to like do a big dinner after and like celebrate. I think like stepping on stage is the win. I'm not like chasing anything. So like being able to celebrate, and it's my mom's birthday and she's coming
on that day, right?
On my show day. So
cool.
to celebrate her, and there's so many birthdays in our family like right now, like through the end of October. And like I get to see those people, but I don't get to like truly celebrate those people right now. So it'll be fun to celebrate like kind of everyone.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, to talk more about bodybuilding, do you want to start with the bikini recap?
Yeah, sure. So this one was a little weird of a recap. It was
weird. I had to watch it twice.
I feel like, okay,
confused.
In comparison to wellness, where wellness was like, here's your top 3, here's the front pose, this looked better than that. Here's the side pose, this looked better than that. We think she could have improved here. This one was more very like vague almost. So it's like, I do have talking points, I do have takeaways, I do have my own opinions on it. But he really said a lot without like saying a lot.
He said so much without saying anything at all.
Where
because they kept saying like, this is the criteria that we're looking for. I'm like, yeah, but explain that.
So they awarded, we talked about this in the Olympia recap, where they awarded Maureen. She won the show, where usually when someone wins the show, that sets the criteria for the whole next year. We're like, okay, all of 2026, every time you step on stage, this is kind of who we're modeling our number one after, right? That's kind of sometimes the point of the Olympia is like setting the standard, best in the world, you know? And Maureen had a very different look than everyone else in the top 5, maybe even in the top 10 this year, where she came in just a little bit less conditioned, still super balanced, super captivating. She looked beautiful. She looked amazing. We said all of those things in the recap in case you missed it. And I feel like Tyler Manion kind of said that himself too, where he had said, I don't know if he had verbatim said she was less conditioned, but she said he said the criteria for conditioning is not changing from previous years. We still want what number 2 through 4 had conditioning wise. So doesn't that make it interesting to be like, so why did someone who's not in that criteria win this show? And his kind of like response, or only thing he really said on that, was like how good her stage presence was, how she is a very like balanced, beautiful physique, which I do agree with. I think she looked amazing. It's just confusing from this breakdown, because we were confused before, and then we were like, oh, but I'm sure the breakdown will explain it. And it kind of didn't, because he still was comparing like second, third, and fourth a lot more than he was talking about first. And it's like, okay, so I think some of it was just the total package, where she just like brought it this year. He did say this is the best she's looked, which I agree with. I think she had that confidence we talked about with her walk, with her posing, her suit color, her hair, her tan, like everything looked good package wise. And yet he's saying like, but we don't want all of you like bikini competitors to model your conditioning after this. Isn't that so conflicting?
That's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard.
That's so hard.
Which kind of reinforces what we all thought, which was like she won because that conditioning works for her, but that doesn't mean the standard's changing. Like he still pointed out that like Amy was a little sharper, especially in her back pose, and that's more what they're looking for. They even said that Ashley had placed 5th this year because her back pose was also like her tie-ins were just a little bit softer than he's used to seeing, and also something with like her lower abdomen area.
But they were sharper than Maureen's.
Agreed. Yeah. So I think like Maureen is an anomaly. That is my takeaway, is like her physique really works for her, but if anyone else softened that much, I don't think it would work for them. Which it might just be her anatomy. It might be because she is only 5 feet tall, like a smaller stature.
She's very petite.
Yeah, where maybe if she came in, quote unquote, too lean, too hard, she would be not enough muscle mass at that point.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
she needs to be filled out like a little bit more because she is so petite.
Yeah. A lot of the comments and reactions were honestly just like kind of what we're saying, but a little harsher, where they fully don't understand why Maureen won if that was the case. Some people are a little too mean and like dragging her, and I'm like, okay, we don't got to do all that because she still looked amazing.
Yes.
I do think it's just like confusing. It's really confusing for a lot of us fans and fellow competitors, where it's like when I watch the Olympia, my tie-ins are like the last to come in for me, as we know. And so they're there right now, but they're soft. And I was like, oh, this is good for me, because if they're awarding soft is good. But then for them to be like, we're not awarding soft. It's like, okay, what does that mean for all of these competitors going back to the drawing board? I guarantee we're going to see a softer bikini division next year, because everyone's going to think, oh, well, if Maureen got awarded for this, so will I. Yes. And I don't think that's the direction they want to head in. So that is what makes it very...
And I think it comes from a frustrating place, because and I hate it because it sucks that this amazing, beautiful competitor that's worked so hard is like getting so much hate for not doing anything at all. Yeah. You know, just being
for winning,
literally for winning and for being an incredible athlete. So I just want to mention that, but I think it's more so coming from like the confusion and frustration from the competitors, because the Olympia and the Arnold too is kind of like the standard for the next year, not only for competitors on what we need to do feedback wise and going back to the drawing board, but for the coaches, for the posing coaches, like everybody, for trainers, everybody is like looking here so that they can game plan the next year. So when they make a decision that's like half in, half out, then it's like, all right, what do we do?
I am really curious to see how the Arnold goes and what the outcome is there, because maybe they will try to like reestablish a little bit of a sharper, leaner physique there. And I also don't know if Maureen typically does the Arnold. Again, I'm like newer to following Bikini again, because when I was doing wellness, I just like, that was my tunnel vision. And now that I'm back, I'm learning. Like, I don't know a lot of these top competitors.
Because now we can go over both.
It's fun. It is really fun. And I'm like, exactly though, I'm trying to learn, and now I'm having a hard time because it's confusing. Yeah. I personally love Maureen's physique. I totally understand why she won personally. Yeah. I just do understand like the back and forth of saying, but that's not the conditioning we want, or that's not the standard we want, can make it a little hard. Like I was going to say something else too. Oh, the posing. I do think this does say like how much posing and stage presence matters, because I can guarantee you that it might have been like a different first place win if her posing and confidence was not as strong as it was.
Like if number 2 had the same level of confidence and like basically I'm here and I'm going to take it kind of mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe she would have won. And number 2, do you remember her?
Ashlyn. Yeah. She's the blonde. I love her physique.
Yeah, and she was a little sharper.
Yes. Yeah. Just like a little bit leaner. And
like what happens if Laura Lee comes back to the Arnold and takes it again, but with the like,
because
I want to message her and be like, girl, what are you going to do? Okay.
He also, like, I wish he dove into that placement a little more.
I really did.
All he said was kind of like exactly what we said. She seemed like a little off.
Yeah.
That was super vague and kind of what he left it at, where I don't think she came in like quite as sharp as she did last year. So yeah, if she shows up at the Arnold, where she has always performed really well and she looks sharp, is she winning again?
Yeah.
It's very
and then it contradicts that we have two completely different physiques and also 2 different posing styles, which is, you know, normal to have everyone pose slightly different. But I'm just really, really curious. Every time the Olympia happens, I'm like, well, shit, let's see what happens at the Arnold, because this gonna change.
Exactly.
And then vice versa.
Do we know when the Arnold is?
March 2026.
Okay, so they got a good amount of time to
Yes.
like make some changes or take a little break and then dive back into a prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious because this was like truly, I'm sure hearing our thoughts on it sound vague. This video was vague.
Yeah. And we'll have everything like linked in the stories too, so you guys can watch it as well.
Yeah.
I did, however, I thought that the wellness one was very thorough.
Yes.
And I do love how, because we have quarter turns, they go pose to pose.
Yep.
I've watched all of them. Like because I love to learn about each division and I want to learn more. So with the wellness one, what Tyler Manion was saying was like this first and second call outs was like the best he's seen in like a really long time.
Yeah, he said top 15.
He's like, they were all like hitting everything great. Like, of course, there's some areas that some need to grow, some need to adjust things. And I love how detailed he got with certain things and even some things that I was thinking, but wasn't sure if the judges were thinking about some of the top competitors and maybe why they weren't placing. So if we go over the front pose, they gave it to Eduarda, and this is her biggest strength. I think we talked about this last Arnold video that we made, or a podcast that we made. She has the perfect upper body development, correct conditioning here, and the hourglass shape. So the one thing that I noticed here with the front pose is that it is very similar to Francielle.
Yep.
In the sense of genetically, this is how Eduarda is built. Of course, like this doesn't discredit her, like muscular development in her upper body, but she is genetically more built with like an hourglass shape, which is the upper body going into the waist, into the lower body, versus Issa has a more petite upper body to where like shoulder to shoulder, genetically just tinier.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last time, and we also were wondering, like, is this even something that she can change?
Because like Eduarda truly has a lot of upper body mass. It's just how she holds it is still so feminine.
Yes.
And that's what allows her shape to be that like Fran looking shape. Mm-hmm. Where Issa, is so petite on top, where like you can only put on so much muscle mass if your clavicles are a certain distance, if your actual shoulders are a certain distance. Like it does limit you that way. And I think we talked last year, like brainstorming for her of like, do you build up your lats? And it's like, she already has great lats. Exactly. It's just sometimes, how you hold it. Yeah,
it's literally like, and you can see it when they're standing side by side, and both are beautiful front poses. Yeah. But you can just see that genetically Eduarda has that upper body hourglass shape, and Issa is just like more petite in the upper body. So they gave that pose to Eduarda, and they said that Issa, at least, like, she did improve this look from the front. They also mentioned her torso is a little longer too. Yeah. Which was interesting because we have both said that before. We're like, she does have a little bit of a longer torso.
Which I think helps with like making your waist look really tiny from the side. But might be the reason she doesn't have quite as like aggressive as a taper as someone like Eduarda.
That makes sense. And they said for Elisa that she twists too much in her front pose. So when you see, and we'll have the photo little pop up on screen and on the stories if you're listening, but this is something that I've always had questions about, because the way that I do my front pose is very much like Eduarda as far as where my foot positioning is and all of that. Yeah. But there's so many wellness girls that do their front pose like Elisa, where they're basically blocking their back leg. And when you see it on the photo with them three next to each other, it does make a huge difference. You're seeing Issa and Eduarda doing it more, I don't know, I guess we'd say traditionally.
Yeah, they're more like hips squared to the judge. Elisa's very turned, where I feel like maybe they're doing it to try to show that upper glute on the left side. Yeah, if that makes sense.
It made her look so tiny.
Yeah, like you're hiding your quad.
Which she's definitely not. Yeah. So I do love that Tyler Manion mentioned here that maybe she was twisting way too much in this front pose, because we've seen her physique like on stage and even in her posts and stuff, and she's insane. But when you see 1, 2, and 3 next to each other, and you see such a massive hourglass shape with Eduarda and then Isa with their foot positioning, and then you see Elisa who's twisting a little too much, it definitely like looks a little different. So we did mention that. Then we go into the first side pose, and Eduarda took this one. This is Eduarda's strong side. And I love how Tyler actually mentioned too, he's like, typically there's people that have a strong side pose one way and a weaker another way. And this is usually what
we both know that.
Yeah. This is
I
what I tell
cannot pose my right side for the life of me.
I always tell my posing clients, I'm like, there's going to be a side that's a little bit weaker. And sometimes what I have noticed is usually it's the side that you don't push into that hip as much.
Yeah.
So for example, like my right hip is the hip that I push back when I do my front pose. And I've been doing that for 6 years. And so when I go into my right glute side pose, where my right glute is facing forward, I can get into it so easily because basically my right hip is lubed up.
See, I feel the same way, but opposite kind of, but we have the same front pose side.
But yours is because of your photo?
That too.
You think?
My right leg looks better if I were to do a right side pose. I just have such a hard time with like my rib cage control on that side. Okay. So for me, it's like my waist is better one way. My legs are better one way.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I definitely prefer my left side because I've taken photos for 10 years on my left side.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So like so if you guys are like listening to, just know it is completely normal. Like even people at the top level have a good side and a bad side. But this was Eduarda's stronger side. They said that they could see a balance between the glutes, the hams, and the quads here. And with wellness, it is an imbalanced division. However, they don't want the lower body, anything to be weaker or more prominent. So we want there to be the same density with like the quads to the hams to the glutes, not one lacking over the other. And then for Isa, that was her weaker side. And they said that she doesn't have the same hourglass shape, but her balance was perfect here. And you can really tell the difference between like this hourglass shape he's talking about when she goes to her strong side pose that we see her do all her photos in. And it's just like so different. And he also mentioned for Elisa, who's in third position, that she's sitting too much into her hips and she was twisting way too much. I did notice that her back foot was really close to her front foot here. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that also has something to do with it. Maybe giving more distance with the feet a little bit. Because she looked very like compact in a small space because her feet were so close. But I don't know. So Eduarda took that side. And then when we move into the back pose, Isa actually took this, even though they said Eduarda's glutes were better. And I'll explain why. So Eduarda, and this really helped me because it's also going to help me with my posing clients. I
clocked this one immediately when I saw her routine.
Yeah. It was so crazy. I was like, And you can really see how different it looks because Tyler said that Elisa and Isa, damn, this is going to be a tongue twister. Their foot positioning was perfect because their heels were shoulder width apart. Yep. And then they have a little slight turnout. So just imagine when you're setting up for your back pose for wellness, they want your heels to start at shoulder width and then you can have that little slight turnout versus Eduarda's legs, she was opening them too much. Her feet were too wide and it made the pose look awkward. Yeah. And when you see them three, there's no doubt that her glutes look amazing, but this is how fine-tuned the little details matter because she lost this pose even though her glutes were better.
It's one of those things where it's like sometimes we feel like we have to be doing the most. And it's like if your physique is already ready for that stage, like you do not need to stand a certain way, push super hard, like try to sink too deep into your hip. That can sometimes like make a physique actually look worse. And I don't think it made her look worse, but it did definitely look awkward where you went like, you won't have to be trying that hard.
Yes.
Like let your glutes speak for themselves, which same thing when I've taught posing coaching before, I'm like, you really don't need to be like bending over and trying to prove you have hamstring tie-ins. Like let them just sit there and be there, because like trust you will be lean enough. You don't have to push it. And it looked like she was really trying to push it.
Yeah. Same thing with like Elisa twisting too much with the front pose.
It's like, girl, your waist is tiny. You don't got to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, and I've even had feedback like that where they're like, yeah, you don't need to push back so much, or you don't need to arch your back so much. And I'm like, oh.
That's something I thought was interesting that they didn't point out in Bikini is he didn't like kind of red flag anyone's posing really. I think he said like one thing about Ashley's front pose, just like how she was standing. But besides that, like he didn't really dive into like, oh, this person was standing too wide or this person was standing too close. And I think it's because like Bikini is very uniform, while Wellness, there is still like a little bit of individuality, especially within their like personal routines,
especially since there's the more poses.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just like front and back. Like they also have each side, and each side is going to be different and hard to pose when it's your good versus bad side.
We have front, back, walk to the back, walk to the front, and Bikini's front, back, walk to the back to the front.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that
I think they need to redo the video. I think they need to redo the Bikini video.
I'm just mad we didn't get so many details.
I want more details from the Bikini like we have for this. Like this is so many details.
This is perfect.
But what they said at least about Elisa, because sorry, this is going to be so hard for you guys to follow. I hope this is good for you guys to
follow.
Go
on YouTube for the photos.
Isa took this pose, who plays second, because of this posing error, we want to call it, that made her look a little bit awkward. Elisa, however, who was third position, they said that like she looked really good. She really brought her glutes up, but still in comparison to Isa and Eduarda, who are first and second, she still needs more glute depth. So like more 3D-ness to her glutes. Like I always like to think of it as like inches. Like if you're looking at a glute from the side, inches out gives more projection.
More like density.
Yes. And then we go to our second side pose, and this is Eduarda's weaker side, and her hourglass shape doesn't look as good here. And then it's Isa's stronger side, and her hourglass shape is way better on this side. So Isa took this pose. She always takes this pose. Mm-hmm. This is like always the one that she gets.
And I will say, I feel like compared to last year, her quote unquote weaker side did look better this year. I'm like, maybe she's just practicing that quote unquote bad side more and more so that they're even.
Maybe she's putting a little WD-40 on that hip.
Yeah, I need that.
Me too, for real. And then for Elisa on this second side pose, they said that she had great glute projection, good balance, but it's still lacking in comparison to Isa and Eduarda. And the way that they said lacking was like, it's just like a touch under. It
if
wasn't
you look
major differences. It was like a little just like bump up. Now this is where the shit hit the fan. The walk to the back.
And this is what did it last year too.
It is.
Wow. They really care about that walk to the back.
It really made me realize I need to work more on my walk to the back. Like I need to think a little bit more about it. So Eduarda took this one, and it was the tiebreaker because right now they're 2-2 with poses. And they said that when Eduarda did her walk to the back here, this is where it was very obvious her glutes were better.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference between how Eduarda is walking to the back versus how Isa is. Eduarda is a lot slower.
Can I say something that kind of bothered me?
What?
There's a line that you walk to. Mm-hmm. Eduarda, I think, took one actual step forward, while everyone else walked to the line.
Oh, really?
And I thought,
maybe in this video he did slow-mo. Was it slow? I think he did slow-mo.
No. You can see it because in this video he showed the top 5, and you'll see like the ends are at the line. Eduarda's taking steps, quote unquote, and it showed like a weird high up angle during the actual Olympia. She like did not move from the line. She was like essentially walking in place.
Interesting.
And that bothered me in the moment because I'm like, okay, from the judge's perspective, they don't know how far they're actually walking. Of course, you're going to look a lot different, still being closer to them. So she's doing what they asked. She is walking to the back. She just is not taking very many steps. Yeah, it just, I mean, in the moment I was like, I know English is not her first language. I was like, maybe she does not know to actually walk to that line. But that's just something that, like, as a fan, peeved me about wellness, because Bikini, all of them hit the line, turned around, hit the line. But at wellness, like, you can even see, I'm going to play it back for you after this video. When they go back to the front, all she does is turn around. She doesn't even need to take a step forward.
Really? It's that tiny?
It's that tiny. So I know
like
this is me
making it look like she was walking, but she wasn't.
This is me being like such a like nitpicky person. I just was so curious if anyone else picked up on that, because it was driving me nuts.
Yeah. Okay, so then maybe that's why she looked like she was moving so much slower, because she wasn't really going anywhere.
Yeah.
Versus
I'm gonna have to, if I can put the video of this on the YouTube. I just feel like I need someone else to see it, because I thought I was being insane.
Yeah. Well, this whatever she did,
it worked for her.
It broke the tie, and this is what got
I'm not
her to
saying
win.
That should have deducted anything. I just thought it was like comical almost.
That's crazy. Oh my God, I really got to look that back. And I thought, like, fourth place, I really wanted to talk about Rayanne, because some of the things that they said was that this is the best that she has ever looked. Her conditioning was on point. She needs a little bit more glute projection and also from seeing her in person, I'm like, what? But okay.
Yeah, you're like, how?
Where's it going to fit? And they did say that her waist is a little thicker. Yeah. And that they had been wanting her to bring it down.
And she did.
This is the smallest that it has looked on stage, and it's her best placing at the Olympia too, right?
Yeah.
So they said that if she brings up the glutes a little bit, of like a touch, and then continues to bring that waistline in, then she's a threat. And I'm like, she is already a threat.
She has a really unique physique in my opinion. Yes. But yeah, I think this is like the strongest she came in. She also is just like, she really shines on stage, has great stage presence, great posing. One of the comments I saw, I think on that YouTube video, if not, it was like on Instagram, was like, I think she deserved like best stage presence out of wellness. The same way they're saying Maureen was like best stage presence out of Bikini.
And I think that her stage presence has like significantly improved since last year. Like when you see someone's stage presence and you remember it, like, of course her physique is incredible and like her posing was good, but it wasn't one of those routines that I was like, I'm going to watch it back like a million times versus like a Fran's first one or Eduarda's Arnold showcasing. But this year, like, I was like, I even watched her at my show. I was like,
he was saying her name very differently. And I'm like, are we wrong?
Are we wrong?
I think he was calling her Rayani.
He was calling her Iani. Iani.
Okay. Ask her next time you see her.
Also, I do want to say that Sandy called Eduardo.
I didn't notice that.
Not once, not twice, but like 5 times at the Olympia.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, Sandy. Eduardo.
And now Eduardo. And a man just walks on stage.
He's like, hey. You call me? It's like some men's physique guy. Me?
Yeah, no, I noticed that too.
I was like, stop. And then she did it again, and she did it again. I was like, Jesus.
I would do the same. If I'm being so honest, if you put me on
we
that
can't even say names on a podcast.
Yeah, I'm for sure messing up, so I don't blame her.
So that's our recap. That's our recap of the recap. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what you guys think. Let's be nice, okay?
Keep it nice.
Keep it nice.
Keep it classy.
Keep it classy, okay? And we love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think.
Bye.